Common Halloween injuries that occur when you go trick-or-treating or on Halloween in general. Let's dive into it. My name is Ethen Ostroff. I'm a personal injury and workers' comp attorney in the Pennsylvania area. The laws that I'm going to talk about relatively apply to every state, but there are some nuances state by state, so make sure to check your local jurisdiction on the differences. Let's dive into it. So before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow along where I will make sure your future personal injury case is protected. So on Halloween, you're gonna go out trick-or-treating. Hopefully you're not going out on Mischief Night, but I'm gonna go into little things that may apply on either of those situations. So let's start with Mischief Night, the night before Halloween, where maybe you got a big box of toilet paper and you're gonna go throw it at a house. Looks like you may be actually breaking a few laws if you do so. First one you may be breaking on Mischief Night would be criminal trespass. If you go onto somebody's property without their consent, you are trespassing. You may be able to have some sort of legal consequences to that. If you were to throw toilet paper and let's say you throw it at somebody's window and you break their window, you will be responsible for that window. So if they catch you on camera and they see that you live across the street, good luck getting away from paying for that window, and they may be able to press criminal charges against you. So be very careful with your mischief on Mischief Night. Other things that may happen on Mischief Night. Let's say that you're walking through somebody's property, and let's say that you fall on their property. Because you're a trespasser, the owner of that property has less of a duty to you if you get hurt on their property. So just know that you are taking a lot of risk by walking on someone's property with the intent to damage their property. If you were to walk into something that was an actual trap designed to hurt somebody trespassing, very different. It's unreasonable for you to know that there was a trap. A long time ago, there was a case where somebody was sneaking around someone's house. They open a door and there is a shotgun loaded on a spring gun. Then when they opened the door, it shot them, and I believe it either killed them or severely injured them. In that case, it's unreasonable to expect such deadly force that you would actually have a case against the owner. But if you were to just trip and fall on something very normal on their property, when you're trespassing, there's a lower duty to you. You are not going to be able to recover for your case. So now let's dive into Halloween injuries. So if you are walking onto someone's property and you go up to trick or treat, and let's say you trip and fall in that scenario, you actually have a license to walk on their property because there's a license that you are granted to specifically go up to their front door and then exit their front door, grab some candy and go. So if you, in that pathway that you are granted, let's say there's a sidewalk and maybe there's a crack on that sidewalk on their property, if you trip, fall, break your wrist, you actually may have a premises case against that Halloween injury against that house. So let's say that you go up and you grab some candy and maybe inside of the little, pumpkin, there's something in there that you cut your hand or you hurt your hand when you're grabbing for that candy. If you get hurt seriously enough and they put maybe something nefarious in there that when you grab that candy, there's an actual sharp object. Maybe there's a knife in there for some reason and you cut your hand, you may also have a case in that scenario. So there are premises liability cases that will occur from Halloween where you trip, fall, break a wrist, or break a bone on somebody's property where you were granted a license to walk on their property to go get candy or whatever you want, and then granted that license to leave. So it's not that you are not actually trespassing because they're allowing you to come onto their property. So it's sort of like a social guest. If you have a social guest and they trip and fall on something that is reasonable to trip and fall on your property, you are responsible for those injuries as the property owner. So be safe out there. If you're going out on Mischief Night, please know that you are trespassing on people's property. If you make any damage to someone's property that is permanent, you're going to be responsible and maybe criminally responsible for that. And on Halloween, if you trip and fall and get hurt on somebody's property, they may be responsible and owe you a duty of safety. So that's it for the Halloween injuries. My name is Ethen Ostroff. I'm a workers' compensation and personal injury attorney in the Pennsylvania area. I would love to be there for you if you ever have something going on. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow along where I will make sure your injury case is protected. Thanks so much.